Platformers may be about as basic as you can get when it comes to classic games, but the Mega Man series has something special. There's a consistency to the games and their quality. Throughout each entry, the controls are just as tight and functional. The music has the same chippy ring to it. The graphics are all almost nearly identical. What? What is this? Where is my 8-bit graphics? So, in 1995, Capcom finally decided that the NES was done diddly squat. So they moved the classic series over to the SNES so that they could, you know, make money and stuff, I guess. It seems it didn't go over so well in the Mega Man fan community, which is odd considering the rousing success of the first Mega Man venture onto the SNES, Mega Man X. But maybe, hidden within the deep, dark, underlying crevices of these games lies a secret that reveals the dark past of two games. Let's make a show about it! Alright, let's start up some Mega Man 7 and get into the meat of this game. Now, I'm no stickler. I can go into this with an open mind. Oh yeah. This. You see, Mega Man X had an intro stage too. A good one. Apparently. But things don't work out so well here. It seems like Capcom was trying to emulate the success of X, so they put in an intro stage, because that's what X did. But there are lots of things they missed in their intro stage, which kinda makes all this just not work. The first thing you'll notice is the opening cutscene. It consists of Mega Man, Roll, and whoever this guy's supposed to be, driving along in a car saying absolutely nothing that's important. But that's not all. We also get what I think is supposed to be a joke. Alright, well now we get to play the game. I just want to play the game! Freaking Monita doesn't waste my time as much. It's like in Mega Man X you go bam, boom, alright, let's go. Whereas here you go bam, bop, words, more words, wait, words. Okay, so while he flies off in his spaceship that kills anyone wearing headphones, and now we can actually play. Woo! Oh hey look! There's an enemy! Ah! Okay, I'm exaggerating, but seriously, that's the first enemy you want to throw at the player? Let me explain something. The purpose of an intro stage in a game like Mega Man, where your level choice is really open, more on that later, should be to steadily introduce the player to things. This is a place for straightforward challenge. So why would the first enemy you send be one that it's all complicated? In Mega Man X, you start the stage and sorry, those cars get me every time. In Mega Man X, you start, and the first thing you see is this wheel guy. So any Mega Man fan, or anyone who's played a video game for that matter, will instinctively just start firing and bada bing bada boom, you killed your first enemy. But here, not only does the enemy get more difficult to handle when you kill it wrong, but it's also elevated on a platform, which almost encourages hitting it and receiving the poor outcome. And this is the added frustration of misinforming the player, as they may think this enemy loses his head every time you attack. And you think this is a one-time thing? Nope. Guess what enemies you face next. Mets, Matools, hard hats, whatever. The point is that they're invincible. Not only is this frustrating for new players who might not have mastered timing in the time it took them to fight one whole enemy, but for players with any experience with Mega Man, this is just cannon fodder. Sure, in the Mega Man X intro, most of the enemies were pretty easy to deal with, but they gave the illusion that they were difficult. They affected the terrain, or moved towards you ominously, or came at you really fast. All the enemies here don't evoke any sort of adrenaline, as they don't really do much. Add their design and you basically got enemies that are annoying for newbies and tedious for those who know what they're doing. I know this seems like a really minor thing, but every minute detail is important in an intro stage. The whole point should be to set aside a unique time to teach the player, or to get them riled up for the challenges ahead. The first enemies you encounter shouldn't be complex, but should still seem like they have a purpose other than put things in between you and the boss. If you don't want to do these things, whatever. Other Mega Man games dealt without an intro stage just fine. But then, why have an intro stage at all? But hey, shooting's only one part of Mega Man. The real trials come with the platforming, so let's see what platforming this stage has to offer. Jump. Jump. Seriously? Does this even count as platforming? I would have jumped over those places even if there wasn't a death pit there. Again, let's look at X. Like the enemies, the platforming looks harder than it is. There's bits of road falling and it makes it seem dangerous, but really, since it's pretty slow and you can jump up walls, you're never really in that much danger. But the crumbling platforms do create a sense of urgency for you as you traverse these highways. You get it? That's another thing. Notice how you're jumping around with the holes and the falling platforms in Mega Man X? You're very clearly up, meaning you can clearly fall down and die. Blam. In Mega Man 7, you're taking a leisurely stroll down a bit of bumpy road. These holes don't even look like they fall down to the depths of the earth. It looks like the camera just didn't go far enough down, and it's probably fine to go down there. It's fine. In fact, nothing about the landscape seems threatening. Again, instead of dark tones and colors and enemies everywhere and cars that nearly run you over, we have... Now the road goes up a little bit. Now it goes down. There's a bit of bright, colorful robot confetti on the ground. You know, it was really nice out today. I'm glad I came out. Again, you're going to have players who want to speed through this section to get to the meat of the game. They're used to other Mega Man games where, you know, you could just start, choose where you want to go, whatever. There's still way too much to talk about with this stage, so let's keep going. And then you fight a big, scary mid-boss robot. Excuse me. I don't have much to say about this guy, except that the game apparently decides to actually start visually teaching you things by showing you that the steamroller bit of the boss hurts people. Because, you know, the first thing I wanted to do when I saw a giant robot was walk into that. Anyway, you explode the guy by shooting his head and move on through the blank, featureless space. This stage has a lot of that too, by the way. And now we face off with bass. Okay, so I know you guys are probably sick and tired of me referring back to Mega Man X, but this bit so much emulates the Vile fight that it's painful. And I mean in the sense that they proceed to do everything wrong. Slow, ominous introduction. Oh geez, we're fighting now? Fast-paced battle you can't win? Tedious battle you almost certainly win because the AI is a dumb. Epic confrontation followed by dialogue that sets up the characters and the plot. You better tell me who you are? Question mark? And it wraps up to a completely unsatisfying ending that just makes you feel like you climbed over a wall that was in between you and the real game. Now, the intro to Mega Man 7 isn't really bad. It's just tedious and unnecessary. There's not really anything in here story-wise that couldn't have been left out or put in the video intro from before you press start. And goodness knows they didn't mind leaving story out of their other games. But seriously, what was the point of all that? I mean, aside from trying to copy the success of Mega Man X. Heck, the two things that aren't immediately apparent to you, the charge shot and the slide, are completely unnecessary for this level. And the lead up to bass just comes out of nowhere and does more to confuse you rather than to set you off on an epic confrontation with him later in the game when he suddenly becomes much harder. But I'm not one to complain and leave. I have a few ideas that could not have only made this intro stage interesting, but also a bit worthwhile. What if you would turn the intro into a chase scene, where you followed Bass through the level and got little mini cutscenes of him blasting large enemies with a charge slot and sliding under a fallen building? This could not only teach a new player everything Mega Man could do, but also give the player a driving force to beat the level. It would be an interesting, different part from the rest of the game, rather than a very bland version of the levels you're trying to get to. Geez, would you look at the time? Well, I guess we'll have to come back to this game some other day. Now, despite my tone, I don't think Mega Man 7 is a bad game, and next time I'm sure I'll have nice things to say about it. Thank you for watching my first video about talking about the video games. First of all, I'd like to thank Ogmoff, my good friend, for drawing all of the little caricatures of me that were so cute and adorable. I'd also like to direct you over to Mike Iron Fist and Super Semicom if you are in the mood for some other video peoples who make videos more often than I do. Thanks again for sticking around for this end thing, and you're beautiful people.